Well, I think the space of youth and new media and civic engagement is one that really forces us to think outside of traditional disciplinary boundaries. Clearly there is a political science or sociology of politics dimension to it. There's a media dimension to it. There's an education dimension to it. Right now, these are separate conversations that really need to be redirected so we're engaged with each other. We have all the pieces here at USC. The challenge is, our professional schedules, our geographic location keeps us moving very rapidly in opposite directions. And I think a collaboration grant can bring us together, allow us to learn quickly from each other, allow us to build on each other's networks, and to create something that may come out uniquely out of the USC environment. So I'm part of the Youth and Participatory Politics Network that was set up by the MacArthur Foundation to really do an audit of where young people are at the beginning of the 21st century in terms of both their use of new media and their engagement with political and civic concerns. That larger network combines quantitative and qualitative research. My piece specifically has been doing ethnographic work on innovative networks, organizations, communities that have been very effective at getting young people involved in the political process. So now at this point we've done interviews with more than 200 young activists who represent 8 or 9 different movements. We're moving beyond that. We just did a webinar for MacArthur bringing about 24 activists together from different organizations that talk about storytelling and political change. We're building a scalar book that will archive and bring together media-rich resources that come from these various campaigns and movements, and trying to heighten awareness of what's the idea that this work goes beyond a Twitter revolution or beyond Slacktivism, that it's really about bringing as many different media together to bring about change as possible. Well, I think more than an individual example, what we're seeing is across examples that young people are fed up with the language that politics is taking place in, that they see it as exclusive in the sense that you already have to be deeply enmeshed in the language of policy wonks, the inside the beltway language to participate, and they're finding it repulsive insofar as it's been so shaped by partisan divides. So what we're seeing is the organizations we're looking at are taking the language of popular culture, the practices of participatory culture, bringing them together to bring about political change. So that might look like the Harry Potter Alliance using the stories of J.K. Rowling to imagine the future of education, to think through issues of human rights. It might involve using the superhero metaphor, as the Dreamers, the young undocumented youth, have done to describe their struggles and hiding their true identities in order to contribute to American society. It might mean responding to reality programming, as the American Muslims have done, to sort of challenge representations of their culture and their lives when they crop up, or using comedy, as the American Muslims have. But it means using a language that seems immediately accessible to the everyday life of young people, as opposed to a language that's in a sphere removed, that's, quote, political, but doesn't speak in their life world. Malcolm Gladwell framed this critique of young activists online in comparison to the civil rights movement, sort of saying that, which to me has always seemed the wrong comparison. We're comparing a platform to a movement. It would be fairer to talk about the telephone revolution of the 1960s, since we know the civil rights leaders were using telephones to connect across the country. But I think there is something productive in trying to go back to these earlier movements, these political movements, and understand the media practices they were involved with. The civil rights movement is one that plays out, obviously was concerned with television and broadcasting, but also worked with the black press, also published comics, also did street protest, also did radio, thinking through those media strategies. And so I'm interested in what do other disciplines know about the role of media and communication, particularly grassroots media and communication, in fostering a movement for social change. And how might we draw on that to make more sense of the practices that are going on in the digital era?